If you're someone who has relationship issues in your life, especially with your spouse and loved ones, then this video is for you. Welcome back to my channel. And this is Pujita Singh, a certified life coach and NLP coach. What is it that I wanted to share with all my subscribers and lovely viewers out there is this one important thing. There are a lot of people who commonly say, especially in the last 2 to 2.5 years, people have started having more relationship issues because everybody is working in closed home setup. People are not able to travel and go outside and do so much more. Now, of course, things are getting better, but there is one thing which I've commonly heard, and I thought I will go back and add some value to all my viewers out there. One thing that I really want you to be aware of and start practicing this diligently in your day-to-day life is this. People who have relationship issues in their life are the ones who are highly doing one damage to themselves and their loved ones in their life, and that is comparison. I'm not joking. So people who actually have relationship issues in their life are the ones who are comparing their spouse or loved ones with others in their life. For example, if I have a sibling or I have a sister, I compare my spouse with her spouse. Her spouse basically is sister's husband. Similarly, if I have a very good friend of mine or a close friend of mine, I compare my husband with that friend's husband as well, and start complaining about what is not happening in my life. Please don't do this biggest mistake in people's life that I have commonly observed. See, one thing that I can tell you for sure is everybody's situation is different. Everybody is dealing with some or the other problem today. Nobody's life is without any problem, without any challenge. It's not problem-free life at all. Everybody has their own ways of living, their own ways of handling issues, and they do all have issues. But why are you creating one out of your own experience? So a lot of times, if your neighborhood bought a car, or if your neighborhood bought a electronic device or something which is which is more of a show off or a need for them, but you feel that you don't have that in your life, you start comparing, you start complaining, you start spoiling your mood. Not just your mood, you actually screw up your partner's mood as well. And I've seen this happening with a lot of people's life. So whenever you're doing anything like this, remember your situation is only going to get worse. For their need, for their situation, for their family requirement, they have bought what they have bought. For your situation, for your family need, your relationship with your partner may have a different need, and that is what is working for you. What you need genuinely, you can definitely go back and demand and ask and work towards making it happen. But if you start comparing that, hey, you know what, this person has bought a car, but you're fit for nothing, you have not even done this much in life, you're hurting a man's ego. You're hurting anyone's ego. We all are humans, we all come from ego. But the point is, if you start damaging someone's self-confidence, someone's presence or importance in your life, it's only gonna get worse. So if you want to save your relationships, if you want to protect your relationship, the first thing that you have to stop doing is stop comparing. Don't compare your husband or your husband who is a son, or who is a father, who may be a son, who could be different other responsibilities. You're actually comparing that guy to something else which is not worth it. Who knows, your husband is much more worth than what the other person that you're comparing with, but you're pulling him or her down by doing that. Same goes with men, by the way. If you are someone who is comparing, you are comparing your wife with someone else's wife. Hey, you know what, my friend's wife looks very physically fit, she looks really well, she looks really good, she maintains herself really well, and so much more. Then imagine you are doing the same kind of a damage to your wife. What kind of qualities your wife has, nobody else have. Everybody is a unique masterpiece in this world. We all are created by divine in our own unique way. The kind of talent that I carry, maybe my sibling doesn't carry, and so much more. So why is it that we compare our wives or husbands with somebody else who is a Tom, Dick and Harry for someone else? You are actually damaging your relationships because you're comparing that person with somebody else whom you don't even know better. Maybe they are showing it off to you, you're learning out of it, but you're actually damaging your relationships. Who knows, this is exactly what they want in your life. So if at all going forward you are damaging your relationships by watching someone else, stop doing this right away. It's gonna be difficult, but consciously stop doing it. The self-esteem damage that you're doing for your husband or for your wife is just beyond words. It takes ages to come back to the track of where she belongs to or he belongs to. So if you're comparing your wife in terms of look, in terms of physical attire, in terms of how she behaves, how she dresses, and so much more, you are equally doing the same wrong thing. And same goes for wives who are comparing their husbands in financial matters a lot more. So a lot of men compare women for how she looks and how she behaves and how she is in terms of her talent and looks and more. Same way, women compare men with how he's doing in the financial life and in terms of work and status. So stop comparing. Stop citing these examples. Of course, you can go back and say, hey, you know what, this is something I really like to do for us, for our kids or something like that, and maybe understand what it takes to get that. But don't say just because someone has bought it, we also need to buy it. No. You are the reason for creating and damaging your relationships yourself. Nobody else is doing it. You yourself are taking charge in a negative way and doing what you're doing. Now, who is responsible when things go wrong? It's you yourself. People say that, my husband is not doing great and hence relationships are getting ruined. Let me tell you, the hard reality or the harsh truth of the relationships is the problem is both ways. If husband is behaving in a certain way, who is the trigger point? It's the wife as well. So adjustments or negotiations or compromises, these kind of words I've heard enough. I'm going to cover them in the series of videos. But what I really want to talk to you is take the first step of stop comparing your partner with someone else. Don't compare your parents with someone else's parent. Don't compare your educational status, your work status with someone else's work status or education status. Don't compare your financial status with someone else's financial status. Don't compare your wife and tell her that, whether being a good mother or being a good wife and so much more. These are the kind of statements which will damage your relationship and you cannot save it. What is once said cannot be taken back. So be very, very mindful of what you are speaking to your spouse, and only then your children watches those and they form an opinion about relationships. So what you're doing to yourself, what you're doing with your spouse is not just in the four walls of your bedroom. Your kids they will make opinions about marriage, they will make opinions about relationships, they will make opinions about when they date someone, they are gonna keep these things in mind. They will run away from women or men, they will run away from marriages, they will run away from commitments. So be very, very mindful and watchful of what you're doing in front of your kids, your parents, your siblings, your unmarried siblings, and so much more. They are watching and learning out of the mistakes or things or actions that you are doing knowingly or unknowingly. So what you're doing is not just between two people. The family is going to get affected. With that, thank you so much for listening to me patiently as always. And your time means a lot to me. So let me know in comments if you're liking it. What are the other stuff that you want me to cover? I'm more than happy to take them through and go back and make videos on it. And thank you so much for coming to my channel and subscribing and listening to me as always. Love you loads. Until then, bye-bye.